Okay, let's start quiz 6, question 5. Okay, Erica has already saved $18,900 in her RSP today. Suppose she plans to continue adding $301 at the end of every month for the next 5 years. In order to achieve her goal of having $48,000 at the end of 5 years, what annual nominal rate of return must her investment earn? Okay, enter the future value as positive in the future value box and enter present value and payment as positive or negative based on the future value being positive. Okay, report IY accurate to 3 decimal places. Okay, so Erica has already saved $18,900. So what does that mean? Well, it's $18,900 in here, right? $18,900. All right, so what happens now? Suppose she plans to continue by adding $301 at the end of every month. So end of every month, that means she's doing it 12 times per year, and it's $301, which would go in here. So let's put that payment as negative. Okay. Now the future value, what's the future value? Future value is she wants to save $48,000. So that has to be positive. The future value has to be positive. Okay. So the future value must be positive. Okay, and the amount is how much? It's $48,000. Yes, okay. So this is $48,000, and that has to be positive. Okay, so let's see what happens. The compounding is done. How much? Nominal rate of return must her investment on her investment. Okay, and it's her goal is at the end of she's contributing end of every month for 5 years. So 5 years would be 5 times 12 will give us 60 for hen. All right. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we can start some calculations here. We are computing this value here, so that would be our CPT, and the nominal rate of return, annual nominal rate of return, so that would be 1. All right, CY would be 1. So let's go in. PY is 12, so, or we can still enter it, 12. And CY is 1. Enter. Okay, so 12 and 1 come out of there, and it is for 5 years. So now we go 5, second, and N. So N is 60. All right, so IY we're computing. Present value is 18,900, and the payments are $301. Okay, so we skip over IY. Present value is how much? 18,900. Okay, so 18,900. All right, so let's put that in as a present value. And 301, well, it should be, let's put it negative. Okay, so the present value would be negative. All right, and the payment is 301. That would be negative. And the future value, 48,000, is positive. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Let's compute the interest, and we get 7.03 5. Okay, 3 decimal places. Y has to be accurate to 3 decimal places. All right, so let's see if our answer is correct. Let's go down and submit the question right here, and what happens? And it is correct. Okay. All right. So future value is positive, present value is negative, and payment is negative. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So this is quiz 6, question 6. Okay, Lauren Enterprise wants to accumulate the sum of $730. Maybe we can just put that in as future value. Of course, that is what you will accumulate, and the future value has to be positive. Okay, so we can put that in. Future value is 730,000. All right, $730,000 in a few years. They want to deposit for $149,900 today. Okay, so you'll deposit $149,900 today. All right, so if it's deposited, then it would be negative. All right, that's a present value that's deposited. Okay, and make additional payments or deposits of $15,680 at the end of every 3 months thereafter. Okay, so 15,680 would be the payment. All right, 15680. Okay, and that is at the end of every 3 months. So this means 4 times per year. So PY would be 4. All right, how long will it take to accumulate the $730,000? The interest rate is 8.68. So the interest rate is 8.68, and it is compounded annually. So CY is 1. Okay, so there we are. All right, so we're computing N. So that is the quantity we're computing. And then, so let's put it on the calculator. All right, so PY is 4. And we enter that. CY is 1. We enter that. Okay, and then we can check. PY is 4, CY is 1. So we come out of there. All right, we're calculating N. So we skip over that. 8.68 is IY. That's this number right here. And then 149,900 is the present value. So let's put that in as negative present value. All right. Payment is 15,680. 15,680 negative payment. And the future value is $730,000. So 730,000. And that's the future value. Okay, so now we compute the value for N, and that is the answer. It says report N as a whole number. Okay, so we have to do some rounding. So instead of 23.9986258, we will report it as 24. Okay, that's the number of payments. So, okay, report your answer in years and months as whole numbers below. All right, if years is an exact integer 7, and enter 7 years and 0 months. All right, so now how many years and months do we find it to be? So what we have to do is divide by 4. All right, so if we divide by 4, we'll get how many? 5.999 years. 5, yes, that's the number of years. So this will be 5, okay? And then if we go and subtract the 5 from there, we get 0.9996564. If we multiply that by 12, and we get 11.99, but we cannot put in 12 months, correct? 5 years and 12 months would bring this up to what? 6 years. So this would be 6 and this would be 0. All right, so let's submit and we'll get that. Now, of course, because n was entered as 24, really, we could have just done the 24 and then divided by 4, which 4 being this py value. And that would give us an answer of 6 years, 0 months. All right, so that is the correct answer. All right, so let's go to the next question. Number 7. Aisha has $15,300 in her savings account and wants to accumulate $50,000 for a condominium down payment. Suppose she plans to make deposits of $660 at the beginning of every 3 months into the account, which earns 3.16% compounded monthly. How long will it take to accumulate $50,000? All right, now enter the future value as a positive number in the future value box. So the future value is the $50,000. Remember, when you accumulate, that is the future value. So this is 50,000, 50,000 in there. All right, so she has $15,300 in her savings account. So that would be a present value. Okay, so we can put it in negative 15,300. All right, now she is also plans to make deposits of $660 at the beginning of every 3 months. Okay, so let's put the 660 in first as a payment. So negative 660. All right, and then it's at the beginning. So beginning is this answer right here. The mode has to be in the begin mode every 3 months. So that means it would be, sorry, every 3 months would mean 4 times per year. Correct? So those are the payments. So PY would be 4. All right, now this 3.16 is compounded monthly. So CY would be 12. And it's 3.16%. So let's do that. This would be 3.16. Right, so there we are. That the 3.16 came from right up here. Okay, so how long? How long means we have to get at n. Okay, how long will it take? So let's do that first, and then we will see what happens. Report n as a whole number. All right, so let's go. So py is 4. We have 4 already. We could leave it as it is. Cy is 12. So we have to enter the value of 12. So py is 4, cy is 12, and we're out of there. Okay, we're computing n, so we are not going to enter any values there. Now iy is 3.16, so we go with 3.16, and that's iy. Present value 15,300 negative, so 15,300, and it's negative, and that is the present value. Payment is negative 660, so 660 plus minus payment. All right, future value is 50,000, so 50000, and we put that into the future value. Yes, let's just check to make sure we followed all the rules. Yes, future value has to be positive, and n would be reported as a whole number. So let's compute n and see what happens to it. Well, we get 38.21. So what does that work out to be? Well, we have to put it in as 39 because it has to be a whole number. All right, you don't take off the decimal. It has to go up. All right, so years and months, what do we do? Well, we have to divide by 4, not 12. Okay, and it's not the 12. It's not this 12. It's this 4, the payments, right? Because those are payments that are made. So we divide by 4 and we get an answer of 9.55268. So that means we have what, 9 years? Yes, we have 9 years. And then we have to do the months. So what do we do? Well, we subtract the 9. That's the whole years. And this number now we multiply by 12. And that gives us 6.63. Now we have to round that up. It's over 6, so then the answer must be 7. And we submit our answer, and what do we get? Well, the 7 months is wrong. So what does that mean? Well, we should go back and take this. Oh, the 39 is also wrong. So there must be a problem. Let's go back and check. Second N. Oh, sorry, it was 20, 20, 20, sorry, 20. Oh, my calculator. Sorry, this thing should be in begin mode. Sorry. All right, so let's go second payment, PMT second, enter. Now we're in begin mode, so we get out of there. Now we compute the N value. N value is actually 38, 37.99. Okay, so this value should be 38. All right, and if we take that number, we can take the 38 and go and divide that by 12. And what do we get? Well, 3.1667. So this number here is, what is wrong with that? Recall N. Oh, sorry, what am I getting? It should be 38. Is it 38? Yeah, sorry about that. So it's 38, and if you divide that by 4, sorry, we divide that by 4, so we divide that by 4, and we get 9.55. So 0.55, we just subtract the 9, and we'll get 0.55. We multiply that by 12 to get the number of months, and the number of months will be 6. So now we submit, and the answers should all be correct. Yes. Okay. All right. So there we are. All right. Next question. Next question. We have Mississauga South Minerals could purchase a drilling equipment outright from a dealer for $62,000. All right. So that's if it's like a present value. That is actually a present value. Okay. Okay, now the equipment is also advertised for lease by the dealer at $3,537 per quarter, payable at the beginning of each quarter for 5 years. The residual value of the equipment of $17,500 after the lease. What that means is Mississauga South could purchase, all right, the equipment for $17,500 at the end of the lease if they choose to. What nominal interest rate compounded monthly did the dealer factor into the lease? All right, good. So let's go this beginning. Let's start off at that. So we go to begin, and there we are. Okay, so that is the number. Sorry, that's the selection we make there. And the $62,000 now. Okay, let's read about this. The present value must be positive in this case. So present value is 62,000. So let's put that in as 62,000, 62,000. All right. What else do we have? Okay, the equipment can be leased for $35.37 per quarter. All right, 35.37 would be a payment, correct? 35.37, so that would be negative. All right, correct, yes, negative. Okay, now what else is there? Payable at the beginning of so it's payments at the beginning of each quarter for 5 years. So PY is 4. Okay, now it's compounded. What's it? Compounded monthly. The compounding is monthly, so that means that CY is 12. Right now, N is how many years for 5 years? Okay, so we'll use the calculator to do that. IY is a value that has to be computed. That is the value we're after. Okay, and round IY to 3 decimal places. Okay, now the residual value is 17,500, but that is what it's the purchase. You can lease, this is like a lease to buy or lease to own. Lease to own, I guess is the way to put it. So this is the lease. You're paying this amount to lease the equipment, okay, for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, residual value means at the end of the 5 years after the lease. Okay, so 17,500 is the buyback. So if you want that, we have to buy it back. So that is a future value, and we will have to put it in as negative because we'll have to pay as like a lease to own on a car. Similar idea. Okay, so let's start. Begin, we should have the calculator in begin mode, and it is in begin mode. The top right corner, we see begin. All right, so second IY, and we have the 4 in there, or we could enter it. And then CY is 12. It's also 12, so we don't need to worry. 4 and 12. Okay, so we get out of there. And it's for how many years? I think it was for 5 years. Okay, so it's 5 years. So now we go 5, second, N, and N turns out to be 20. Okay. All right. We skip over IY because we're computing that. The present value, it says to enter the present value as positive. That's the reason why it's being entered in as positive. All right. Enter the present value as a positive value. Okay, so we go to the present value and we put in 62,000, 62000. That is the present value, which was indeed this number right here. Okay, payments, that's the leasing, would be minus 3537. So 3537 negative would be the payment. Future value is 17,500. So 17500 plus minus future value. Okay, now we compute the IY and we get 13.07. Okay, let's say we put in 13.0718. We put in one extra decimal place and we see what happens if it marks it correct. And it does. Now you might be saying, well, what if it was rounded? So let's round it to 0.72. Submit the question there, and it turns out to be also correct. Okay, so that brings us to the end of quiz number 6.